Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud is the King of Saudi Arabia. He lives the kind of lifestyle that no other king can compare himself to, not even the British royal family. King Salman lives in style, and the vacations he takes are insanely expensive. His last Moroccan trip had a price tag of $100 million. You heard right, $100 million. That might sound impossible, but it happened. This is by far the most expensive trip that he or anyone has ever taken so far. But this is nothing for this Arabian king. His Moroccan palace, the hundreds of servants that wait on his orders and whims, his army of accountants must have been working day and night to add up all the costs. Stick around to the end to see King Salman's vacation, which you or anyone else will never be able to afford. His fortune of $2 billion. Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud was born on December 31st, 1935. He is the 25th son of King Abdulaziz, the founder of Saudi Arabia, and has been reigning since January 2015 after the death of his half-brother King Abdullah. Salman holds power in Saudi Arabia that no other possesses. And oil-rich Saudi Arabia is one of the richest countries in the world. The House of Saud holds a wide influence in the Arab world. They own media companies and groups throughout Saudi Arabia and the Middle East. It is believed that the House of Saud is worth more than $1 trillion. The British royal family, on the other hand, has an estimated net worth of $88 billion and are poor and pale in comparison. If you've got $1 trillion spare dollars hidden under your bed, maybe you'd like to help poor King Charles out. The House of Saud is huge, with over 15,000 family members. However, only 2,000 hold most of the wealth. Their true riches stem from the oil reserves that were uncovered around 75 years ago under King Salman's father. Saudi Aramco, the state-owned natural gas and petroleum company, is under the control of the Saud family. In other words, under the control of the king. The company is valued at $2 trillion. So the king is rich, that's for sure. Salman was already born into a royal family and has only ever known power and luxury beyond our dreams. He has servants attending to all of his needs. He has never made his own bed, cooked for himself, or washed his own socks ever before. He gets to do everything most of us will never be able to do. That includes this $100 million trip to Morocco. So why Morocco? This northern African country is a growing tourist destination, but King Salman's main reason for visiting this tourist hub is purposes. Saudi Arabia and Morocco have been on friendly terms for generations. Both countries are monarchies and family dynasties that adhere to Sunni Islam, and both are key members of the Arab League. The moment King Salman landed at the airport in Tangiers to begin his summer vacation, he got warmly greeted by Saadetdine Othmani, the Moroccan Prime Minister. This is no surprise. The price of this trip accounts for about 1.5% of Morocco's revenue from foreign tourists every year. King Salman has a home in Tangiers, Morocco. In 2016, he had expensive renovations done on this palace. He added buildings, helipads, and an enormous luxurious tent to entertain himself and his guests. Obviously, this property is secret, and only a select and discreet few get to go there and meet this immensely powerful and temperamental sultan. But those who have been astounded. His mansion. King Salman owns properties all over the world, including a chateau on the Côte d'Azur in France, an apartment in Paris, and a palace in Marbella. But his Tangiers compound near Cape Spartel in Morocco is his preferred destination. Even he is impressed with his palace and estate. His all-inclusive package is something most people on earth, including multimillionaires, wouldn't be able to experience. Salman opted for a 74-acre estate because 1 acre isn't enough for a Saudi king, right? This place is definitely fit for a king. It is a purpose-built summer palace. This complex is above the beaches of Jbilia. It has its own medical facilities and kitchens prepped with exotic and delicious dishes, including caviar, lobsters, and truffles from France. King Salman checked his entourage into fancy hotels. 800 hotel rooms and 200 cars were arranged for more than 1,000 relatives, security personnel, ministers, and advisors. King Salman even gave his household staff a free pilgrimage to Mecca, the most holy Muslim shrine, back home in Saudi Arabia. The king's expectations. Gold is a must for any king, don't you agree? Look, this guy needs everything to be made of gold, even gold tissue dispensers. Did you know that gold tissue dispensers even existed? King Salman might be in his 80s, but he does go overboard on his trips. In 2014, he went on a trip to Washington, D.C. for a diplomatic conference and decided to book out an entire Four Seasons hotel. That's 222 rooms. If that doesn't sound extravagant enough, he also demanded that the entire five-star hotel should be redecorated. Everything had to be in gold. That included the tables, lamps, mirrors, and even hat racks that were imported from Saudi Arabia. The carpets were also changed to red, because who doesn't like to walk on red carpet, right? The most important place for him to have a red carpet is in the lower parking lot, so that his feet don't touch the bare ground, because that is beneath him and his social status. The ground has to be draped in red carpets or he isn't going to turn up and get out of his car. Demanding, isn't he? He is almost always accompanied by 100 security guards and refuses to go out in public without them. Each of them cost around $3,500 per hour. I guess he understands that people don't like him too much. Out of his entourage, around 150 people are his personal employees, including chefs, servants, and cleaners. I guess they must be scared of him. What do you think? His other multi-million-dollar trips. In 2017, King Salman had another excessive trip. He booked out the Ritz-Carlton and the Four Seasons Hotel. He had an entourage of 1,000 people. The hotels had to cancel the bookings of all the other guests and ask permanent residents to move out in order to make space for the king and his kin. This cost him $3 million. That's before room service. He also leased 200 cars for $1 million. On another trip to Tokyo, Salman had a luggage problem. His plane didn't have enough storage, so he chartered a $14 million Lockheed C-130 Hercules plane. This military aircraft is the property of the Royal Netherlands Air Force. It is normally used to transport tanks and heavy cargo over long distances. This king used the $14 million Lockheed C-130 Hercules plane to transfer his bags and his two Mercedes-Benz S600s, his official vehicles. He also booked 1,200 rooms in Tokyo's best hotels for him and the same group of people he normally travels with. He ordered 500 limos to get them around Japan. It must feel pretty good to be part of the king's squad, don't you agree? But I guess you have to be careful what you say and do. He sounds just a little demanding. He has this same routine in almost every other country he has visited, including France and Indonesia. Obviously, these trips weren't enough of a spend. He has tried to beat his record, and he sure did with this Moroccan vacation. $100 million is impressive. How he travels? The answer is simple. King Salman travels in style. When we mean style, we mean no one else on earth gets to travel like him. He is beyond privileged. He owns 6 jets with gold interiors and seats. One of them is a Grand Official 747-400, which is a commercial airline that has been customized for the king. It is in fact one of the biggest passenger aircraft in the world. It can take more than 600 people. It has a conference room, a throne room, bathrooms, and gold-clad bedrooms. Incredible, isn't it? This plane could easily be worth over $100 million. The king also owns 2 Boeing 747-200s, a 777-300, a 7878, and an Airbus A340-200. These aircraft are exclusive to the king, and only he decides who can board. Imagine how much all of these planes are worth together. It couldn't be less than $3 billion. During his trip to Morocco, there were about 100 black Mercedes sedans and Range Rovers to whisk the royal party from location to location. His trips are paid for by his personal fortune, not by his government, which of course belongs to him too. The message he is sending to his sons and to the world is that if you can afford it, do it. Spend $100 million on vacation. It's okay. Are you excited to see where he travels next? Will it be $200 million next time? Tell us below.